Hospital numbers are staying steady in southern Nevada with more than 1,000 people hospitalized with COVID-19.
Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz is here now to explain what is being done to keep people out of the hospital.
Well, guys, doctors say the vaccine is truly the best prevention here. It keeps people from getting sicker, going into the hospital, or dying, even if you are a breakthrough case. But for those who do get COVID and get sick, the FDA in the past few weeks has authorized this new option that any doctor can prescribe you.
The antibody is available today. In the Las Vegas area, there are many infusion clinics, there are other hospitals that all provide this monoclonal antibody therapy to patients.
So you may have heard of monoclonal antibody treatments. This is given to patients in the hospital. This is video from back in January at Sunrise Hospital when there was a surge of cases and they had a specific tent for these patients. So what has changed in the past few weeks? The emergency use authorization from the FDA allows your personal doctor, if they're concerned you have some risk factors or could get really sick if someone in your household got COVID-19, they could write you a prescription or a referral to get this IV treatment. Sunrise Hospital is doing so. They've given polyclonal treatments to 200 people since July. It takes about an hour.
If you are have a positive COVID test and you're asymptomatic and not hospitalized, you can get a physician recommendation to go to one of these infusion centers or to the emergency room or to our clinic when it was standing up. And you can then, over about an hour, we would give you this infusion.
Again, it is an IV infusion, and this EUA just happened a few weeks ago. So it is for a COVID-19 case or COVID-19 exposure, or for someone who is high risk. You have to be 12 years or older, and you do need a doctor referral to be able to go to one of these locations. So to help doctors figure out how to navigate this new program and where exactly to go, what places offer it, the feds just released this website. It's on the Health and Human Services Secretary website. So you can even look at all the treatment centers all across the country where exactly you can get this monoclonal or polyclonal antibody treatments. And you can look here in the Valley. You can see about a dozen locations or so that your doctor can refer you to. I tweeted out the link right here at Jacqueline Fox 5 Vegas for the therapeutics distribution. Coming up at 10, how this program is going to be so crucial, especially for younger patients who are getting sicker with the Delta variant. John.
Jacqueline, thank you. While many Americans will have the option to get their booster shot in the fall, some who got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine want to know, why not them?
If you are fully vaccinated, you still have a high degree of protection from the worst outcomes of COVID-19, severe disease, hospitalization, and death.
In the U.S., there are 3 COVID-19 vaccines with emergency use authorization. For 2 of them, the ones made by Pfizer and Moderna. Top U.S. health leaders now say a booster is needed for adequate protection. The 3 recent studies found waning protection over time against symptomatic infection. But those who got the Johnson & Johnson will likely need a booster too. When that data comes in, health leaders say they will keep Americans up to date on a timely plan for booster shots for the J&J vaccine as well.
The J&J vaccine was not administered in the U.S. until March of 2021, and we expect more data on J&J in the coming weeks.
Meanwhile, the push to get shots into the arms continues. In the past 2 weeks, a fifth of all new U.S. vaccinations have been among teens, which parallels a climb in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations driven by the Delta variant.
As more kids are heading back to school, each parent and school district is trying to figure out the best way to keep kids safe. The debate over the issue has led to many contentious school board meetings across the country. Camilla Bernal has the latest.
Will not conform!
As children return to school, heated debates over mandatory mask mandates among parents and politicians.
Masks are effective. This is authoritarianism, and you are virtue signaling.
Health experts say that masks are the most effective way to protect against infection for children under 12 who are not yet eligible for the vaccine.
Even in a school system where you may have vaccinated teachers and some of the children may be vaccinated, you want to wear a mask to protect the children so that they could continue to be in school.
But some governors, like Florida's Ron DeSantis, say parents, not schools, should decide whether their kids wear a mask in the classroom. DeSantis threatened to withhold the salaries of school officials who impose mask mandates. And the Republican says quarantining, quote, healthy kids after a possible COVID exposure in schools should be up to the parents, too.
Parents whose kids very well may already be immune, who may have a passing contact, I think if they're healthy, I think that they should want to get them back as soon as, if they want to get them back as soon as possible, I think the school district should work on that.
But health experts say the risk is far too great.
The risk is not just to that child, it's to the rest of the group.
Thousands of students and employees have tested positive for COVID-19 across Florida's largest school districts since the start of the semester. Camila Bernal, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.
And the FDA is expected to move quickly to thoroughly review vaccines for kids under 12 when they have the data that they need. That's according to U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. He says it is possible that there could be a vaccine for them by the end of the year.
Pope Francis is urging Catholics to get vaccinated against COVID-19. In a video produced by the Vatican and the Ad Council, the Pope shows his support for the vaccine, saying in part, being vaccinated with vaccines authorized by competent authorities is an act of love. But despite the Pope's message, Catholics could still use religious exemption to get out of their employers' COVID-19 vaccination mandates. Many Catholics are against the vaccine because they're produced using abortion-derived cell lines. We'll be right back.
A startling increase in fentanyl deaths here in the Valley. Fentanyl overdose deaths jumped more than 200% between 2019 and 2020. In 2020, there were a total of 193 fentanyl deaths. In 2019, there were 72. And Metro says there has been a 39% increase this year between January and June. We talked to Metro on Behind the Badge this morning. Lieutenant Braden Clarkson says a lot of people do not know what they're actually taking.
If you take a pill that's not prescribed to you or go to a doctor or get it from a pharmacy, this pill could end your life because it's so readily available that it could shut your body down and kill you. And I want everyone to realize that this pill, one pill can kill.
And during a 24-hour period last Thursday, Metro reported 5 suspected fentanyl-related deaths. If you or someone you know needs help, there are resources here in the Valley. Go to the homepage of our website. That is fox5vegas.com.
Our airport's renaming process could begin soon. The massive help renaming efforts received today.
What are the biggest takeaways from the Raiders and Rams joint practices in Thousand Oaks? You'll hear from head coach John Gruden and some of the players straight ahead.
McCarran Airport is one step closer to becoming Harry Reid International. That's because former professional gambler Billy Walters and his wife donated $1 million toward the renaming efforts. Clark County commissioners approved the renaming back in February. It'll be renamed after former Senator Harry Reid, who represented Nevada in Congress for more than 30 years. No taxpayer money will be used for the renaming, so they are relying on private donations.
The Raiders' joint practice with the Rams once again disrupted by fighting between the two teams. Fox 5 Sports Director Kevin Bollinger is with the Raiders in Southern California and explains what went down.
It's been a nice change of pace for the Raiders down here in Thousand Oaks. They're getting their individual work in, but more importantly, they're getting those joint practices with the Rams that have given coaches a good look and a good gauge as to where this team's at right now. The Raiders were able to get in another good workout against the Rams on Thursday, but late in the session, another fight broke out between the two teams. It started small as a special team scuffle, but then grew to both full teams barking at each other. With that, the coaches pulled the plug and ended practice early. John Gruden was not pleased.
They know better. Everybody knows better. And again, it wasn't everybody fighting. It'll be on TV. You'll see a bunch of guys screaming and yelling, but it was two guys in a special teams period, and then it was a lot of trash talking that escalated. It's just sickening, really. It's just stupidity, but I'm done with that. It's just child's play to me.
When they were playing, Darren Waller made more big-time plays on the Rams' defensive backs. Waller is just coming back after missing more than 2 weeks with an undisclosed injury, but said he was all good.
It's good to be out there just, practicing, maybe through the full practices. Feeling good now. Feel like I'm over the hump of a little bit of discomfort that I was feeling.
Running back Josh Jacobs said the Raiders end these joint practices knowing they can compete and knowing they still have more work to do.
I think we're a lot better than what we give ourselves credit, but it's also still too early to tell. We still in camp mode, still trying to grind it out. But you see little flashes of big plays and special things. So it's just about keeping it consistent and doing it on a higher level.
The Raiders and Rams will meet in preseason game number 2. That's Saturday night at 7 o'clock at SoFi Stadium. You can watch the game exclusively in Southern Nevada right here on Fox 5. And don't forget, Raiders pregame live with all of your coverage to get you ready for kickoff begins at 6:30. With the Raiders in Thousand Oaks, California, Kevin Bullinger, Fox 5 News Local, Las Vegas.